Last month alone, 764 sellers pulled their homes off the market because they couldn't find a buyer. If you're trying to sell your home in the Durham region right now and it feels like nobody is biting, you're not crazy. You're actually in the majority. That's more homes failing to sell than actually selling. But here's what those numbers don't tell you. While those 700 plus homes sat with 0 offers, many others sold in days or a couple of weeks. Even in a slow market, buyers are still buying, just more selectively than ever. So the question becomes, how do you become one of the homes that gets the offer and not one that gets terminated? Today, I'm giving you the exact playbook from pricing psychology to the 3-second scroll test to the incentives that push buyers over the finish line. I'm Vilija Truelove. I'm a local Durham Region real estate agent. And if you want to talk about selling or buying a home in the Durham region, you can book onto my calendar or reach out directly by text or email. All of my contact information is right down below. Now, let's get your house sold. So step 1 is what I call the price band strategy. And no, this is not just pricing it smart, because I think at this point, everyone knows that if you're looking for what your neighbor sold for during COVID times, it's just not going to happen. This is about positioning your price inside the brackets that buyers are actually searching in. Most sellers think I want 800K, so let's list at 805 or 810 for a negotiation room. But this can be a mistake. Why? Because buyer searches on realtor.ca and agent auto emails are set in $50,000 increments. So if you list at 805, you literally disappear from every single buyer searching up to 800K. You just don't even exist on their screen. But if we list at 800, 2 things happen. You show up to the entire under 800 group, and you also show up for the buyer searching 800 to 850. That's double the exposure simply by landing on a price band. Sometimes you won't be able to avoid pricing at those in-between numbers, but if you're close, it's a great strategy. Now, let's talk about the current market specifically. Durham is in a declining or softening market cycle. That means that prices aren't moving up, buyers expect deals, and if you list even slightly too high, you could spend weeks chasing the market downward. If you start too high, you end up doing price drop. And every drop sends one message to buyers: nobody wants this house. In a declining market, the strongest strategy is to start slightly below the current comparable prices. Not far below, just enough to lead the market instead of chasing it. This does 3 things. First, you get all the buyers in your price band. You look like the best value compared to your competition, and you create urgency. Yes, even in a slow market. Because right now, buyers are waiting for a signal that something is worth jumping on. Price is that signal. Once your pricing is aligned, the next hurdle is surviving the scroll. This is step 2, the 3-second scroll test. Buyers are not walking into your home first. They're lying in bed at 11 p.m., scrolling listings with their thumb at lightning speed. You have 3 seconds to stop that scroll. Your main photo has to instantly communicate bright, clean, spacious, inviting. If your photos feel dark, cluttered, or confusing, scroll. They're gone forever. Let's play a game. The left photo is dim, cluttered. The right photo is bright, wide angle, clean. Which one gets the click? Of course, the right. This is why staging and photography matter. Not just for pretty, but for clarity. Every room needs a purpose. Every angle needs intention. If buyers have to squint and think, is that a bedroom? Or is there a room for a dining table somewhere? You've already failed the 3-second test. Clarity equals clicks, clicks equals showings, and showings equal offers. Step 3 is video. And I don't mean a photo slideshow pretending to be a video. I mean real video, movement, flow, drone, walkthrough. And a bonus, buyers love when there's a virtual tour attached. Photos can lie. Wide angles make rooms look bigger, the angles hide flaws. Buyers know this, and skepticism is very real right now. Video builds trust before they ever even book a showing. And in a slow market, buyers have a lot less urgency. They're not spending their weekends touring 10 homes, sitting on their couch, choosing 1 or 2 to see. The homes with great video, those are the ones that make them feel like they already know the property. The ones without video, they feel like work. In 2026, you have to treat your listing like content. You're not just selling the home, you're selling the lifestyle of living in the Durham region. If the buyer can imagine themselves cooking in that kitchen, walking to the waterfront, or hosting family dinners, they book the showing. If not, they scroll. Okay, so your pricing is on point, your photos and videos are dialed in, but you're still not getting an offer. Step 4 is the sweetener. Sometimes the issue isn't the price. Sometimes the buyer just needs a nudge. I had a buyer who loved a home, but their biggest concern was timing. They needed a very specific closing date because their current home wasn't closing for 90 days. The seller offered them their ideal closing date, even though it was a much longer closing than they initially wanted. That concession gave the buyer the security that they needed and they wrote the offer. Other examples, I've had sellers leave items like home movie theaters or pool tables, things that wouldn't necessarily be included in a sale, but are really nice to have for a buyer. Here are the sweeteners that work best right now. Number one would be the flexible closing date. Buyers love this. You can also get creative and offer to cover small but annoying costs. Things like a professional cleaning before possession or a landscaper for spring cleanup. These small gestures often feel big to a buyer. You can include certain upgrades or warranties, smart home devices, security systems, lawn care equipment, the backyard patio set, or the pool table or movie theater system that I mentioned previously. These aren't always huge costs, and they might even be something that would be annoying for you as a seller to have to move to a new house, but they feel like value to a buyer. Sometimes a $500 to $2,000 incentive gets your $900K deal across the finish line. It's not just about throwing things in, it's about giving the buyer a reason to say yes today instead of next month. The Durham market has changed, but homes are still selling. The difference between the 764 that failed and the 600 plus that sold isn't just luck, it's strategy. I want to hear from you. What's your biggest fear about selling right now? Is it pricing? Is it the market slowing down? Or is it the hassle of being show ready for weeks? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to dig deeper into the numbers, especially the price trends in Oshawa, Whitby, and Clarington, you can watch this market update next. It breaks down the failed versus sold data in even more detail. If you'd like to talk about buying or selling in the Durham region, reach out directly. All of my contact information is right down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.